Good morning and welcome to part 10 of my video series. Called this one today When Experience Counts, and it's in a bit of a direct response to some really interesting conversation that's happened on the solution focus list, and part of which came from my last video. And I'm really pleased that conversation's happening. I don't profess to be right. I don't profess to take moral high ground. But I think the conversations that are happening are exactly the purpose and intent of me doing this series. And debate is good. No problem with that. So what I'm going to do today, a little bit different structure. I'm going to illustrate a couple of examples of why I think experience counts, and I'm going to finish up with a bit of a bit of a personal kind of disclosure around the intent and purpose of these videos. So let me just say before I say anything else about experience counts, I love new solution focused practitioners. I love the passion, the enthusiasm, and the new ideas that people bring. I often learn more from new people in the field than people more experienced and who have been in the field a longer time. So where's the dichotomy there? Because actually, I'm saying new people have great ideas, but experience counts. So let me give you an example. Firstly, a personal example, and then an example of somebody or something I saw at a workshop. So I'd been doing solution focus for about uh, a year, 18 months. I'd lapped up all the brief discussion. I've been watching videos. I'd been really kind of, on the kind of riding a wave of solution focus. I loved it. And I sat in front of somebody I worked in the Angel Drug Project in London, and this would have been going back around about 1994, 1995, something like that. And a young man was sat in front of me, and this young man was 19, 20 years old. I don't know. I may have told this story before as well. Um, I asked him a miracle question, as was the way of some preferred future in those days. It still is, but it's not the main way. I asked this guy a miracle question. I said, and you wake up and this miracle's happened. You don't know why it's happened. You don't know how it happened, but it's happened. What's the first sign you would notice that this miracle's happened? And he looked at me, and I could see he was a bit distressed. And he said, "My granddad will still be alive." And I looked at him, and I panicked. Inside, I was in absolute panic. And what I did over the next few minutes was probably very unsolution focused. I tried to get myself out of that hole. I tried to get myself out of position. His granddad could not be alive. I couldn't answer that question. I didn't know. I didn't have the tools at my fingertips to be able to ride with that question. As a solution focused practitioner, I was wholly inadequate at that point. Now, had he been in front of me now, had he have said those things, and with the experience I now have and the learning I now have, I would have not panicked. I would have been very clear and asked him, and what difference would that make? And depending on his answer, I would have gone along with that, but I certainly wouldn't have panicked. And I certainly don't feel there's any situations where I don't have a solution focused response, which, when you think about it, is always related to a client's preferred future or desired outcome, best hopes. So therefore, what I'm saying is, as a direct experience, a direct result of my lack of experience, I didn't handle that particular thing very well. I've had other people, particularly in supervision, tell me they get stuck. Tell me that oh, when you ask these questions, Paul, it sounds easy, or when I've seen videos of other people, it looks so easy, but I was in this situation, somebody said, I don't know, or somebody said, I can't answer it, or somebody gave a response that made it very difficult for me to reply in a solution focused way. um, That's not because they're not good practitioners. They generally are very good practitioners. I've yet to find many bad practitioners. Very few, but they're the exception. So when somebody sits in front of me in supervision and says I get stuck, um, I can respond and say, "Have you thought about this? Did you try this? Other people have done this, or what else might you have said? What could you have done in a solution focused way that was different?" And often, not always, but often it comes down to experience and exposure to solution focus. And I guess exposure and experience is quite interesting. So somebody can be doing a solution focus every day of their working life for 6 weeks and have more exposure to solution focus than somebody that's doing it, 2 hours a week for 2 years. So that's an interesting concept, but I'm not going to delve into it. So here's the other example. I've given a personal example of my inadequacy and lack of experience, and here's an example of something else. I went to a workshop um, in the past couple of years. I won't tie it down because I don't think it's helpful to the person, but a person of some solution focused standing was doing a workshop and asking us to think of a solution focused question. And the solution focused question was based that somebody had just been admitted to an inpatient unit. I said, yeah, the question I would ask is, what's your best hopes from our talking together? Um, the person leading the workshop said, no, you can't ask that. I said, why can't I ask that? Because they're an inpatient, they don't have any choice. That's best hopes are they want to get out. And I said, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. I can ask that question. No, 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 you can't ask the question. It's not useful. Um, So I kind of didn't pursue the point apart from saying, actually, yeah, I could, and leave it at that. But the point was, this person who was leading the workshop and leading it well, and a good person, and I would say as a competent solution focused practitioner, had made the assumption that it's a situation that can't change, so somebody can't have best hopes in that situation. As somebody with experience of solution focus over a number of years, that particular situation wouldn't phase me. It wouldn't deter me from asking a solution focused question. So the solution focused question I would ask is, what are your best hopes from our talking together? And if that person said that I don't be admitted, I'd pursue that and say, and what difference would it make if he wasn't admitted, and so on, or what would the people here assessing you need to see to know that aren't being admitted, or in terms of safety, what are they seeing that tells them that you need to be admitted? There's lots and lots of options that I could ask, but best hopes question would be useful. Or best hopes are, given the situation that you're in and that you are going to be admitted, what's your best hopes for given this situation? What's your preferred future given this situation? And it might be that, but I get out as soon as possible, or that there's a number of ways, and to actually stick to one particular answer is very difficult for me to do because I don't know the answer to the question. But if I don't ask the question, if I don't ask a best hopes question, I won't get an answer I can work with. And Elliot's very good at this. Elliot Connie says that part of our role is to ask questions that give us an answer, enable us to ask another question, and that's kind of where it is. So we don't shy away from those questions. My point is here with this illustration and with illustration of my own um, um, doing, as I said before, there's something there about experience. The more exposure you have to solution focused, the more you feel that you have those um, questions in your repertoire, in your toolbox, in your way of being in a solution focused way. I mentioned the word stance before, and some people have picked up on that, and that wasn't my saying, that was a colleague saying the solution focused stance once, which I like. The more we have a solution focused stance, the less we get stuck in a solution focused session. And I'm not saying I don't get stuck, I do sometimes, but less so, and some of that's about experience for me. And you don't have to agree with that, but that's okay. This is just my particular feelings around that. And let me just finish, as I said I was going to do, with a bit of intent and purpose. Um, I'm very pleased debate is happening from this series, and debate often goes further than I expected, and sometimes, and there was some really good debate on the list, and Dominic and other people articulated things better than I can, and that's great. I have no ego around that. And this is a point. I don't have a business to make out of solution focused. I don't have a reputation to maintain around solution focus. I don't have hubris or ego around what I do in solution focused. I have only one agenda here, and that is to make people, not make people, that's wrong, sorry, is to enable people to practice solution focus better. And in order to do that, some of the time we have to stir things up a little bit, not for purpose of stirring things up, but just ask for questions and challenge the assumptions and bring to the table debate that sometimes gets stifled. Voices sometimes don't get heard, and that's okay. That's okay. If we're really a mature therapy, and after nearly 40 years, I would hope we are, if we're really mature and okay in what we do, we should invite debate. We should invite discussion. And look, next time I see something on the list about what I've said, and I've done another 12-minute discussion, and somebody takes one sentence and says, "Oh, Paul said this, and therefore I'm going to challenge that." Look, go for it. I don't mind. It's okay. Please think about the fact that there's now, 10 of these videos up, and that's 120 minutes, nearly 2 hours of chat. If you want to take one line and deal with that's okay. If you want to have an open debate with me, that's fine. If you want to email me, that's also okay. My intent and purpose is bigger than one sentence, and if I get something wrong, I'm okay with getting something wrong. I'm fallible. I don't have a script. I don't re-edit these things, which is why you see mistakes. I just speak, and some of times when I speak, it's not what I was intending to say because my thought process goes somewhere else. Um, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today, and one of the things I'm going to do in the next video is talk about how not to be stuck in solution focus, how to make sure that those questions, the I don't knows, the non-responsive questions, the questions that take you on another tack, how we can ensure from the very beginning of a session that we don't get stuck as solution focused practitioners. Um, Thanks very much for watching, and enjoy your day.